didn't want to say anything when I was there, but the table next to me was so miserable. Thank you. The menu at the bar is extremely sticky. That is really, really good. They do a good hot chocolate here. It is a very grey and rainy day in London today. Hello guys, welcome back for another afternoon tea review. As you can see, I'm under an umbrella. It is a very grey and rainy day in London today. It's actually the middle of May, getting towards the end of May, and I'm surprised that we've got this kind of autumnal weather, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of enjoying it a bit. It's quite nice to have a break from the sun in London. I know that sounds strange, but sometimes I like to have days like this so I can just cuddle up at home and watch a nice cozy movie. But that is not what we're doing today. Today we are on our way to the Ivy Chelsea Gardens because I have heard that the Ivy actually have a pretty good afternoon tea. I know they're not the most popular restaurant. I know quite a lot of people don't really like their restaurant, don't rate their food, but I actually love their brunches. And I've never tried an afternoon tea there before. So I thought the Chelsea Garden location was the one to go for. It's probably the prettiest one, I think. I booked an outside table, which feels like a bit of a mistake now because the weather is not outside table weather, but I'm gonna see if they can move me inside when I get there. And you actually can't book for an afternoon tea. You can just book a standard table and they have an afternoon tea menu from 3 to 5 p.m. So I've got my fingers crossed that just means they'll let me have one. I don't really know if I was supposed to book something specific, but I just couldn't find a way to book it on the website. So we're heading over there now and the rain is absolutely tipping it down. I don't know why I bothered to curl my hair this morning because it is, as you can see, as limp as a horrible quality lettuce. So I just feel like I completely wasted my time doing my hair this morning, but it's fine. And yeah, let's try and get there as quickly as we can because walking in this rain is not enjoyable at all, and I'm desperately trying to make sure that my camera does not get wet. Look at how grey and miserable it is looking at the moment. Oh, at least the green kind of leaves are breaking it up a bit, but yeah, this is a very grey day in London for May. It almost feels like it could be autumn. Also, look at my trainers. They are absolutely ruined in this rain. This really is not the vibe I was going for when I booked this. Before we get there, I should also mention I am horrendously early for this. I'm about half an hour early, which is just because I left early because I find that the tubes in London can be extremely unreliable, especially the District line and the Circle line. They often will not turn up when they're supposed to, or they'll pause in a tunnel for ages. So I always end up leaving a bit early just in case there's a delay. But now I am horrendously early, so I might just see if they'll let me go in earlier than I planned. I'm not expecting it to be super busy. It is the middle of the week, it's a Tuesday. I always try and do my reviews middle of the week just so that the restaurants aren't too busy when I'm reviewing them. But yeah, I should be there in the next 5 minutes and I will show you the table that I get once we sit down, and then we can order our afternoon tea and I can give you my thoughts on it all as it arrives. Okay, we've arrived. This is not looking as cute and springtime as I was expecting it to because obviously it's raining right now. It kind of kills the vibe. But yes, we've arrived. You can see here they've got the sign for the seasonal afternoon tea, so that's what we're going to be getting. They also have the Ivy Asia right next door. I've eaten at the one near near Bond Street before, but I've not eaten at this one. And I also do know that the Ivy Asia actually does an afternoon tea. I've never tried it because it's a minimum of 2 people. So let me know if you want me to try that one and I can try and book with someone to come with me so that we can enjoy it, because I feel like getting enough food for 2 people is a bit of a waste if I know it's just going to be me eating it. But now that we've arrived, let's go in and see what this afternoon tea is like. I also realised you've never seen me in my glasses. I do typically wear glasses, but I often just don't wear them when I film because I don't need to. I just wear them when I'm out and about getting on the tubes and stuff because I just need them to be able to read the signs. But yeah, I'll probably take them off when we get in because I don't need them while I'm doing an afternoon tea. Okay, as I am very, very early for my reservation, they've asked me to wait until my table's ready. I'm here at about 3:10. I booked for 3:30, so hopefully I won't be waiting too long. They did say to just get a drink at the bar while I'm waiting. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, because I don't know if someone's going to come over and take my order. It's very, very busy in here. For a Tuesday afternoon, it's heaving, which I'm going to assume is probably because it's half term. I feel like I never know when half terms are. I'm completely out of the loop when it comes to schools, but maybe that's why it's super busy. The menu at the bar is extremely sticky. I almost can't lift it off the table. You probably saw the camera just shake then when I tried to lift it up, but it's very, very sticky, which doesn't feel very premium. It's a shame. I feel like they just need to replace these maybe more frequently than they are. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to get a drink before I get to my table. Maybe that's me being really pessimistic, but also I don't know that I want to flick through this menu too much. Hopefully I'll get seated soon though. Okay, I've finally sat down at my table. I arrived about half an hour ago, so I did have to wait half an hour for my table. Like I said, I did arrive very early for my table, but it is now 10 minutes past the time that I booked it for, which is a little bit disappointing because I was hoping I wouldn't have to wait too long for the table. But yeah, just something to note. I have got the afternoon tea menu here, so it is the spring afternoon tea. They only serve it between 3 to 5 p.m, so just keep that in mind. And the regular afternoon tea menu is £36.50, and if you want it with a glass of champagne, it's £46.50. So I think it is priced really, really well in line with like everything else in London for a standard afternoon tea. I'll show you this menu so you can see exactly what is included. They do have a QR code for any allergies that you might have, so you can just check to make sure that nothing is going to be an issue. But yeah, I am going to order this. I'm probably going to order it with a glass of champagne, and as everything arrives, I'll let you know, as always, what my thoughts are. Okay, I've ordered the afternoon tea, so I went for the version with the champagne because I thought for about £50, why not try it, and I can let you know exactly what I think of it. In terms of a hot drink, I decided to go for a bit of a curveball today. Normally, obviously, I go for a tea, and typically I'll go for a green tea because that is normally my favourite. However, they offer hot chocolates here, so you can get a mint, a milk, or a white hot chocolate. And so I decided to go for the white hot chocolate. I'm interested to see what it's like. It's such a grey, rainy day outside. I just felt like that was exactly what I needed. And I will also say, I know I mentioned about being seated quite late for the table. I have a feeling that might be because of two things. Firstly, it's half term, so it's a lot busier than it probably normally is on a Tuesday afternoon. And secondly, because of the weather, I think the garden area is closed. That is the area that I initially booked. So I think they've had to move quite a lot of people that might have booked for that inside, which again might have caused a bit of a delay with the table. So it's a bit frustrating when you have to wait a bit of extra time for these things, but it was only an extra 10-minute wait on from when I actually booked it from. I just wanted to flag it in case you guys are thinking you're booking it, so you're aware there might be delays at busier times with getting to your table. So I am now waiting for the afternoon tea and my drinks to arrive. As always, as they each do, I'll give you my initial first impressions, then we'll do a taste test and I'll let you know what I think after. And then at the end of the video, I will let you know my overall thoughts of the afternoon tea and whether or not it is worth the money that you would spend on it. The champagne has arrived. It's quite a nice little glass that it comes in, so let's test this and see what we think. That's a nice champagne. So I think for a £10 extra, for an afternoon tea in London, that is pretty good. So my hot chocolate has arrived, so this should be the white hot chocolate. So I'm excited to try it and see what I think. That is really, really good. They do a good hot chocolate here. So if you're coming for an afternoon tea at the Ivy on more of a kind of autumnal or wintry day, I definitely recommend getting a hot chocolate with it because it's just a nice kind of cozy thing to do. I will say this doesn't really taste exactly like white chocolate, but I like that because I sometimes find white chocolate can taste quite artificial. It's more like a mellow milk chocolate, but it's really, really good. Hi.
I'm going to explain you a little bit, okay?
Yes, perfect.
So on top of here, we have a creme brulee with the raspberry sauce inside.
Yeah.
In this little box, we have 3 chocolate truffles. And on the top, on the middle, we have a small chocolate bar.
Yeah.
And lemon cake, okay?
Perfect.
And scones with malted cream, strawberry, and matcha. Enjoy.
Thank you. Okay, seeing as everything arrived at the same time, I'm going to do my review in the normal order that I do, which is to do the sandwiches first, then I do the scones, then I do the sweet treats. I'm sorry if there's like smoke billowing into the camera way, because the smoke is still going from the top of the afternoon tea and it's going across into the camera, but hopefully it's not too bad. I am also swelteringly hot in this jumper. When I left my flat, I absolutely needed this because it was cold outside, but now I'm in here, it is so, so warm. Goodness, this smoke is just, it's out of control. It's like, it won't stop going. Okay, let's get stuck into reviewing this food. I will say it is now 4:10, so it took about half an hour from me being sat down to the afternoon tea actually arriving, and I will say that is quite a long wait. It's a set menu thing. They normally have these all prepared, so just be prepared that it might take a bit of time for them to bring the food out to you if you come to the Ivy for your afternoon tea. It all does look lovely though, and as I mentioned before, the price point for this one is really, really good, so I'm intrigued to see what the quality is going to be like. And of course, we're going to start with the sandwiches, so let's start with the most traditional one, which is this egg mayonnaise one. I'm going to bite into this and I'll let you know what I think of it. I believe they describe this as like a spiced egg mayonnaise. It's got a bit of a curry flavour to it, which I really like. It was a bit surprising. I kind of thought maybe I'd bitten into a coronation chicken sandwich instead and got confused about the flavours, but it is nice. Do I prefer it to the truffle egg mayo that a lot of other places are doing? I don't think so. I feel like I prefer the truffle flavour. I feel like it works better. This is a bit confusing with that spiced curry flavour. It makes you think it's a coronation chicken sandwich when it's not. So, not the hugest fan of it. I don't think it's horrible. I just feel like it doesn't make sense as a flavour. Okay, next we have this with the salmon on top of it. Let's see what we think of this. I normally love smoked salmon, so I'm intrigued to see what I think. This is really, really tasty. I really like this. I like that they've got a few different things. It's not just straight sandwiches. I feel like it definitely makes the afternoon tea more interesting. That is a standard smoked salmon and cream cheese flavour in there. Very traditional, works perfectly well. And then finally, we have this pretty looking roll, which I believe has chicken in it. And I'm very intrigued to try this because it is stuffed full of filling and I feel like it's going to be delicious. So interestingly, that roll with the chicken in it does have a truffle flavour to it. So it's like they've kind of switched over the flavour profiles compared to what another more traditional afternoon tea would do. I feel like all the other afternoon teas currently are doing a truffle egg mayo and then a coronation chicken. These guys have decided to go for a truffle chicken flavour and a spiced curry egg mayonnaise flavour. It's interesting, it's all nice, it all tastes good quality. I just prefer the more traditional way of doing it. So, I mean, they're pretty nice, but not my favourites that I've tried so far. Okay, I've finished the sandwiches. Overall, I think they're pretty decent. The roll was a little bit too cold for my likings. I feel like it had been refrigerated and it just needed to be a little bit warmer. But that said, they were decent, they were good. As I mentioned, there were some strange flavour decisions made with those, but they did taste nice. I just prefer the previous ones that I've had at other afternoon teas. So if you're new to my channel, if you've not watched my videos before, go and check those out because I do review lots of afternoon teas in London and I give my very honest opinions on whether or not they're worth your money. Without further ado, let's get into the scones. So I've got these in front of me now. They look pretty good. They still feel fairly warm. They're not fully warm, but I'm not surprised. They feel kind of room temperature at the moment. And you've got one fruit and one plain scone. You get clotted cream, jam, and fresh strawberries, which I think is a really nice touch. I like that they've got 3 different elements to have with your scones. It just adds a bit of dimension to it and just makes it a bit more interesting than if they just do the cream and the jam. Okay, let's start with trying the fruit scone first. These are kind of oblong shape to them. But they do look still good. I'm going to cut into these and I'll do a half of each just to try them and to see what I think. So I'm going to put the cream on first, which is what I always do. I will say this cream is very, very full, so I feel like I'm going to make a bit of a mess putting these together, but I'm going to do my best to try not to make too much mess in this restaurant. Okay, let me put this cream on and then let's go in and put the jam on top. I'm going to try it without putting any fresh strawberries on it first, And then with the plain scone, I will try it with some fresh strawberries on it as well, just to see what it tastes like. So here is the fruit scone all loaded up. Let's try this and see what we think. I will say that is really, really delicious. Their scones here are good. They are on the smaller side, but I don't mind that because I feel like with an afternoon tea, you don't want too much of each thing. Otherwise, you're just never going to get through all of it. I think this one actually, for one person, is a decent amount of food. It's not anywhere near too much where you're never going to finish it. You could probably share this with another person, but I think it might be a little bit too little food to do that. Let's try the plain scone now and see what we think of this one. I'm just going to put clotted cream and fresh strawberries on this one to try it, just to compare against the cream and the jam. I've just realised now I've cut into this. This actually isn't a plain scone. They've just given me 2 fruit scones. So just bear that in mind. I'm not sure if the menu said that you get 1 fruit and 1 plain. I'll have to double check. But I've got 2 fruit scones. I would have liked to have tried a plain one if they do it, but it's fine. I like the fruit scones anyway. Just something to keep in mind in case they do only offer fruit scones, because I know some people only like the plain. Okay, I've put some fresh strawberries on the top of that. Let's try this and see what we think. I really like that as well. I will say I do prefer just the standard cream and the jam, but it is nice to have a fresh strawberry option as well, just in case you want something different. Okay, I've finished with the scones. I really enjoyed those. They were really, really nice. As I mentioned, they're a good size. They're not too big where they're overwhelming, and they were really, really tasty. So I think they've got good scones here. I'm now going to start trying the sweet treats, which often I find are the highlight of an afternoon tea. You get 4 with this afternoon tea, so 2 of them are actually mini versions of desserts at the Ivy. So you've got a creme brulee, you've got their chocolate bomb, you've got this one, which I can't remember what this is, but we'll get into it and we'll try it, and then you get some chocolates as well. So I'm going to try all of these. I'll let you know what I think of each of them, and then at the end of the afternoon tea, I'll let you know my overall thoughts for the price of it. So let's try this one first. It looks really, really pretty. I'm just going to get my fork in there and try it and see what I think. I like that. That's like a Victoria sponge cupcake. It's got some jam in it. The cream on top is really nice. It's not too sickly sweet. I really like that. It's like a marshmallow topping to it, actually. I think that's really nice. I think if you ate the whole thing, I'll show you how much I've taken out there. If you ate all of that, I think it might be a bit too much, but I do like the flavour. Let's try this one now. So this is a mini version of their chocolate bomb. You can get this chocolate bomb as a dessert in their dinner menu, I believe. I am going to try and crack into this without making too much mess. And then I'll try it and I'll let you know what I think. This is hard to get into. I'm like smacking this with my fork and it is not cracking. Okay, I've managed to get in there. I will say the bowl that they put this in is a bit too small for the dessert. It makes it really hard to get into. I will show you, or I'll attempt to show you what that looks like. It's a bit of a mess now, but let's try the inside of this and see what we think. That is chocolate upon chocolate upon chocolate. For me, it's too much chocolate. This is where I start to think that an afternoon tea for one is better shared with 2 people, because a lot of these sweet treats, if you have them all, they're a lot. They're very sickly sweet if you have them all together. So I would say maybe sharing this with one other person and then ordering an extra pot of tea for yourself and maybe an extra sandwich or something for yourself, or an extra set of scones might be the way to go to avoid getting overwhelmed by the level of sugar that is in this. Okay, let's try the final 2 bits of this afternoon tea. So you've got the creme brulee here. What I will say is typically when you have a creme brulee, it is a hard sugar top. This doesn't look like a hard sugar top. It's completely soft. So that's a little bit disappointing. I wish it was like a proper creme brulee, but let's try this and see what we think. It's a standard creme brulee. I think if it had the proper sugar hard top, this would be really good. And I kind of like that they do these mini desserts with the afternoon tea rather than traditional patisseries. I feel like it's a nice way to tie it into the rest of the menu and just offer people something a bit different. You also get this little box of chocolates included with your afternoon tea. So I'm going to open this up and try one of these as well. Here's what they look like inside. I'm not sure if I can show you without them falling out, but they're just standard truffles, just chocolate truffles. So I'll try one and I'll let you know what I think. Those truffles have salted caramel in them, which is nice, but I think with the chocolate bomb and those, that is chocolate overload for me. Overall, I think those sweet treats are kind of a bit hit and miss, if I'm being honest. So let's talk through final thoughts. This was priced at, I think, about £35 without a glass of champagne, £45 with. So it is on the cheaper end of the scale when it comes to afternoon teas in London. And I also know there's so many Ivy restaurants across the UK. It's one of those ones that a lot of you would be able to try regardless of where you're based. So that's something to keep in mind. This is a much more accessible one in terms of price point and locations. However, I will say the atmosphere here probably isn't the best. It is very, very busy in here. It gets very noisy, which if you're looking for a more relaxed, chilled out vibe, you're probably not going to get it from an Ivy unless you book it at a really, really off-peak time. The other thing is they only do the afternoon tea 3 to 5 p.m, so it's quite a short slot, and that means that you really are restricted to a later in the afternoon timing, and it gets very busy with everyone having afternoon teas at exactly the same time. The service as well has been a little bit slow. As I mentioned, it took about half an hour for my afternoon tea to arrive, bearing in mind it's quite a standard thing that they offer between a set 2 hours, so I would have expected it to just be a little bit quicker. But apart from that, most of the stuff I would say is pretty good, and if you are looking for a better value afternoon tea to try or to experience, I think it's a good one to try. I would just be a bit particular or picky with the location I'm booking and the time of day in terms of like in the week. I wouldn't book this on a Saturday or Sunday because I feel like it would be super busy then, and I wouldn't book this during a school holiday. So have a think about when you could go that wouldn't be too busy, because otherwise it's just a little bit chaotic in here. So let's have a look at where the Ivy places in our afternoon tea rankings. It is right in the middle of that table. I really feel like the atmosphere let it down with this one. Without the issues with that, it would definitely be a lot higher. Okay, I'm out of the restaurant now. I didn't want to say anything when I was there, but the table next to me was so miserable, it really kind of impacted my experience. They had a voucher for a cream tea, but seemed really annoyed that they had that rather than one for an afternoon tea. It was all just a bit strange. To be fair, they didn't have the best service. The person serving them never asked what tea they wanted to have, and they just brought them over just like standard tea, I think. So I get it. They didn't have the best service. They were supposed to also be given champagne and they weren't. So that was a bit of a mess up. So I get it. When stuff like that happens, it is annoying, it is frustrating, but from the moment they sat down, they were in a bad mood and they were complaining about everything, and it just made it really hard for me to enjoy my experience and to try and be kind of fair in assessing it, because that was definitely putting a bit of a dampener on it. So yes, I would say the service at the Ivy Chelsea Garden was not the best today. Mine was okay actually, but they were a bit slow. I've mentioned it in my kind of wrap-up thoughts about them taking half an hour to bring the afternoon tea. It was a bit of a wait for me to pay my bill as well at the end, but nothing like that bad, to be honest. And overall, I did enjoy the experience. I just feel like those sweet treats are a bit of a miss. But yeah, I just wanted to share that because maybe that came across in my energy in the video, I don't know. Have quite a few more afternoon teas on my list to review for you guys in London. I want to do some fun themed ones. I know there's like a Mad Hatter one. I think there's a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory one that I've seen as well. God, I can't get my words out today. So I want to do some of those fun themed ones for you guys. Let you know what I think of them. Let me know if there are any in particular that you want me to review. Let me know in the comments and I can try and get around to doing those as well. I was also thinking of doing some reviews of brunches, but also like kind of London's most aesthetically pleasing cafes and restaurants, because I feel like there's a lot of cafes and restaurants that get loads of hype because they just look incredible, but actually you go there and they're not that great. So let me know if you'd like to see those as well, and I'll try and do those reviews on my channel. But if you've made it to this point of this video, which might be very chaotic in its energy, I don't know, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for more videos, and I will see you soon.